Hi, Rachel from the Straits Times. Your point about why is opposition candidates in last-minute switches not questioned the way that the PAP's last-minute switch has been questioned. I think from voters' point of view, it would be that these last-minute opposition candidates have quite a small chance of getting into Parliament, but in the case of Dr. Chia, because Tanjong Pagar is seeing a walkover, he is now an MP. So I think voters are probably...
I think if the opposition didn't switch their candidates around so much, they would have not so small a chance of getting into Parliament.
Sure, but in the case of Dr. Chia, the voters, because he hasn't been formally introduced, the voters are being asked to take him on faith. But in the case of Mr. Steve Tan, the personal situation that has led to this, what we're seeing now, was this something that party leadership was aware of before? And if it was, then why was the change made at such a last minute?
No, if we had been aware of it before, we wouldn't have made the change at such a last minute. It's something which came up at the last minute, and Steve Tan discussed it with us, and we decided that we need to do this. I think we are honourable people. We could have pretended that there was no problem and just carried through. But Steve Tan is honourable, we are, and we decided that, awkward as it is, we just had to go through with this and make the last-minute change. And explain to people, I'm sorry, something has come up. We couldn't follow up. We couldn't do what we intended to do. We have had to make a change. And Shilu, by the way, is not a surprise. I believe Straits Times has reported on him.
He was not in the first 24.
Well,
so we assume.
Well, you remember in the last introduction we said we reserve the right to introduce more.
But in the case of Dr. Chia, why was he not put into Tampines GRC where we knew that there would be an opposition fight and instead moved to a GRC where there was a high chance of a walkover?
Why don't you ask Mr. Loh Tia Kiang why he went to Aljunied instead of Tanjong Pagar?
I think you had a question that we switched because there was no contest, or we thought there was no contest. Who would know until 12 o'clock? So the PAP doesn't know that the independents or whoever that went there could not get a form, file the papers on time. So it's not that we knew that the opposition would not be able to contest, but the switch was already decided earlier.
Yes. Mui Hong?
Mui Hong from the Straits Times. As the campaign gets underway, PM, you've already said that every MP worth his salt should, fight not to lose. Already there's some criticisms about so-called smear tactics from the PAP. So I would like to ask you, what kind of campaign would you like to see? What's the tone you would like to set? What would be your advice to candidates? That's the first question. Second question, if I may. Many of the PAP candidates have unveiled very exciting plans at the constituency level for residents. If the PAP candidates are not voted in those constituencies, what happens to those plans? Can voters still look forward to them?
Well, my advice to candidates is to fight on the issues, and this should be a clean fight. I mean, we are fighting on serious matters concerning the lives of Singaporeans, and we should focus our minds on that. Politics is a complicated matter, and however high-minded you may start in the heat of an election campaign, from time to time you'll find unwise speeches being made, which is why sometimes after elections you've got court cases to deal with. But fight on the issues. Character is not irrelevant. The quality of the candidate is not irrelevant, but this is not a matter of personal attacks on people. This is a matter of trying to decide who are qualified to represent the voters, and if there's something which is relevant to that and it has to be brought out, well, it has to be properly brought out and discussed. I will not go into this question of, I assume you're referring to what's his name, Vincent Vijay Singha. I leave that to Vivian and his team to deal, and he said that Vivian has said his piece. It's really for the voters to decide. There's nothing more to be said on that. As for constituency plans, The constituency plans are put up by the team, and if the team is not there, the team is not able to implement the plans, and a new team will come up with new plans. I think that makes sense. Yes, just one or two more. I think everybody needs to go back to campaign.
PM Sapalani from Tamil Marasu. Previously, the unopposed constituencies, the sharing of manpower is quite evident. You share manpower from the unopposed constituency, but now, except for one GRC, everywhere fight is going to be there. So how are you going to share the manpower among the PAP branches?
I think the opposition will also have to share their manpower, but I think that we are not short of manpower, and each branch will be able to raise what it needs. And where we need help, I think we will be able to assist one another. And for example, we may hold some of our mass rallies jointly. I think Pasir Ris Punggol is planning to hold one tomorrow night, and they're going to do it jointly with Punggol East and Sengkang West. So that's one way in which we can economize on resources and get maximum value.
And do come.
Yeah, please come.
We have a lot of retired MPs who are...
who else? Shu Qing?
总理，刚才你提到就是87个议席之中有82个有竞争，你不会感觉到太过的意外或惊喜了。可是当那个赌注这么大的时候，如果有任何意外的情况出现了，你会不会觉得行动党这些年来辛苦建立的一个政权的那个基础会受到动摇？
I think the question is, if there's a surprise, will we feel that we are shaken? We are going into a campaign. We are fighting to win the election. I don't think that it's the right psychology to spend your time on such idle speculations at the beginning of the war.